Happy Saturday, Texas. Welcome, welcome. Oh, yes, this is the Connect Network TV right here on the CW. Of course, we're happy to be here with you every week. And you're like, Natalie, where is Wendy? Where is Michelle? They're on flights, living their very best lives. So we are going to get into it today with my favorite doctor that can help you discover more about ticks. A tick. Maybe it's something you've noticed in your child. It might be something that you've noticed in yourself, but never have been able to put a name to it. She's going to give us a lot of tips today and share what we can look for and how we can heal those ticks naturally. But she's also willing to talk a little business today because my co-hosts aren't here. So Dr. Piper, what a sport you are. Happy weekend.
Happy weekend. I am loving Miss Ross. The curly girls have to, go natural. I love it.
Yes, I know it. And high five to you because you said too, during COVID, you're like, I'm tired of flat ironing my hair. I'm taking this natural, leveling up, and honey, high five. We did that. High five. Woo! Woo! Let's first talk about differentiating yourself from the so-called competition, because as I say, there is no competition. You're your competition. But you have an amazing practice and all that you're building. Talk about how you are able to set yourself aside from other doctors that are also specializing in tick disorders in children.
I got really, really clear on what my niche was. Where did I want to work and what kind of people did I want to work with? I knew that I was extremely passionate about that. So I got really clear on, I've been in their shoes, how they're feeling, what they're dealing with, and how I could really answer their questions in a specific way and relate to how they were feeling. So when you get really clear on what your business is, who that person is that you're speaking to, create that avatar, know exactly who it is that you're speaking to. What are their interests? Where are they hanging out online? What is it that they are after? How are they feeling? And that really makes a huge difference when you're trying to set yourself apart from everybody else in the industry.
That is so good. I totally agree. And I love what you're saying about creating opportunities and that maybe others in your field are not. And I know one thing that we do here at the Connect Network is that we are able to give you media. And I think that's the biggest differentiator for us, because there are a lot of people out there, they're going to show you how to pitch. They're going to show you how to sit. They're going to show you how to stand. But can they promise you that they'll put you in front of millions? Most of them can't. And that's one of the things that we stand tall on, whether it's a soft launch, hard launch. Any tips on just getting started?
There are so many amazing ways that you can get started these days. Look at the different platforms for launching your business. Invite your friends and your family to be interested in what you're doing. Start an email list, and then really being able to use their words, use their feelings, use their actions, and really invite people into my world. Start your own private Facebook group. Use these different platforms like Zoom to hold meetings and calls and information. But really, you can do everything virtually, and there's some great tools out there for you to
So true, Dr. Piper. But coming up next, we're talking about ticks. So before we go to break, share with us what a tick may be. And while we're on the break, you guys can take a look left and right and see if you have any of this going on in your home.
Yeah, absolutely. A tick is a repetitive, uncontrollable movement. And we see it usually pop up in children around the age of 4 to 6. And there's several different ways that you can look at ticks. There's a motor tick where maybe someone is clapping their hands. My son did a lot of neck jerking movements. Most of the time, most parents will tell you ticks start with rapid eye blinking. And that's really kind of that first soft sign that maybe there's something going on under the hood. And there's also vocal ticks. Lots of kids clear their throat. They make noises. Humming. They will say a word over and over. My son, for example, said Francisco over and over 9 million times. Are they having these uncontrollable, repetitive movements? And maybe you want to start looking deeper.
So you're going to stick around. Coming up next, more on the tick disorder in children and how you can fix those naturally. We'll be right back.
Every business needs a social media manager. And if you didn't already know, I'm going to be taking over the Connect Network's Instagram account. The business was doing okay on its own, but Make It Blue Media is going to take it up a notch. If you're ready to level up your social media game, here's one tip to help you master your Instagram account today. Take advantage of the tools that Instagram provides for us. The algorithm loves when we use videos, carousels, stickers, polls, etc. And don't forget that Reels are a hit when it comes to skyrocketing visibility and increasing engagement. If you're not really comfortable with creating Reels, don't fret. Just use fun, everyday video in your stories for now. The top ranking content is educational and entertainment, so have fun with it. You may get some unexpected results. Join us right here every week on the CW with new tools to help maximize your online presence. Follow us today at Make Blue Media.
Well, welcome back, Texas. So, wow, this conversation continues. I'm with Dr. Piper today. She's a friend of the show, and she will be joining us for the next several weeks. And we're going to be talking more about tackling tic disorders naturally. Before we went to break, you shared a little bit about what to look for when we are concerned if our child may have a tic. But I want you to talk more about your business for our audience, Regenerating Health. It's amazing what you've built. I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about your platform.
Yeah, so I am a traditional naturopathic doctor. I'm board certified in natural medicine. I also have a doctorate in advanced holistic nutrition. But my son was diagnosed with a tic disorder 10 years ago. And after the conventional approach failed us, I went back to school. I relearned every single thing I thought I knew about health and wellness. And I completely changed the approach. And so my goal is to change the face of how people look at tic disorders and what that approach is. Most of us have been told, just ignore it. They'll grow out of it.
There's two things there that are inspiring. One, you created an entire business around a passion out of love for your child. And then you were able to transition him from, an everyday way of dealing with these things. So talk a little bit about him today. Were you able to grow out of those disorders? Do you think that this naturopathic journey is why?
Yeah, I really feel like if we had not taken the approach that we took, I don't know where we would be today. At some point, he was really severe. I pulled him out of school. I homeschooled him for 3 years. That long list of symptoms that we were dealing with is long gone. The mood swings are gone. We had the tics. We had stomach issues. Just all of these things that were happening are now gone. He's a calm, intelligent, smart child who is really tick-free.
Talk about this naturopathic journey. What does that mean? We hear a lot about that, even when it comes to cancers and other illnesses. What does it mean to be on a naturopathic path rather than a traditional?
So naturopathic path is really looking at those natural approaches. We're looking at how can we make the right diet and lifestyle changes to approach those things naturally. And the conventional approach is really more along the lines of observational, giving some prescriptions, where naturopathic is let's change diet and lifestyle.
And I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about the genetic side of things, because I know genes do impact our overall health. How do our genes impact those?
So really, honestly, genes are not our destiny. Our environment impacts our genes. So if you're living in a toxic environment using lots of bleach and Lysol, and you spray your yard with glyphosate and all of these things, it will change the way that your genes express themselves, how they act and how they function and how they send those signals. What is your roadmap? How do we use your blueprint as a roadmap? So we can look at your genes and figure out what do we need to remove and what do we need to reinforce in order to give you optimal health. So we can look at things like, how well do you detoxify? Do you have chronic inflammation? Do you have an increased need of certain nutrients? And when we look at that, we can create an individualized plan that's created just for you based on your genes and what we're looking at.
So let's talk about those things. You brought up a lot of things. I've heard a lot of people talk about how your household products, the things in your lawn that you're using, can affect your life. I believe that to be true. What are some of the things that we might want to omit for not only ourselves, but also our families, our children?
A lot of parents find it very overwhelming. Don't do everything at once, but if you run out of Tide laundry detergent, switch to something else that's more natural. Like we love Molly Suds. It's got essential oils. It's natural. There's no chemical garbage in it. Really making those changes. And if you made it all at once, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. But if you do it over time, much easier.
Now, wait a minute. Back to the cast iron skillet. We keep those or we get rid of those?
You keep the cast iron.
Okay.
You keep the stainless steel. You get rid of all of the nonstick cookware. It leaches chemicals into your food and is toxic.
Man, so true. My mom is always telling me all of this stuff. Moms are so smart. Moms are so smart. Dr. Piper, this is so good. And I know you've got to have a way that people can come and take a look at where they are, maybe through a blood test, something like that. And then you can kind of give them a roadmap to where they can go if working with you. So we're going to take a quick break. You're going to come back and you're going to let people know how they can find you and how they can work with you. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jess DeFeo, and I am a social media coach for women entrepreneurs who know they are on a mission to change the world with their business, but are struggling with how to market themselves authentically to their ideal client on social media. I can help you go from overwhelmed and confused on what to post to creating effective and impactful content that converts your followers into customers. Head to my website to grab your free course, Instagram 101 for Business, and learn the strategies I use to grow my business in just 6 months.
Welcome back, Texas. I am here with Dr. Piper, owner of Regenerating Health. And Dr. Piper, you're going to share some first steps when people are coming in that want to check out, their potential for illness, sickness. Talk about a few of the first steps that you'll take with new clients.
First step is I always give everybody a free consultation. I get on the phone with you and we talk about what I do. Am I a good fit for what you're looking for? And what are your health goals? And then we set up and we're going to look at all sorts of different testing, because just like your car's check engine light, if your check engine light comes on, you're going to the mechanic. He's looking under the hood. That is our goal, is to look under the hood and get that data that we need. So we're going to look at things like stool pathogen testing, food sensitivity testing, genetic testing, organic acids, neural inflammation. I have a menu of testing we can look at. We take that testing and we create that step-by-step plan that's designed for you.
And I love that, Dr. Piper. We're so lucky you're going to be with us for the next several weeks as we get into the holidays. So I'm excited. As you heard, she is teaching the doctors in Austin, Texas. So yes, this is who you want to visit with. This is who you want to call. And over the next several weeks, you're going to be bringing some of your just top-notch doctor friends to our space. Tell us what we can expect as you're bringing us all these tips as we get into November and beyond.
I am really excited to be talking with some amazing women about tackling tic disorders naturally. I am interviewing Dr. Elisa Song, who is a holistic pediatrician. We're talking about PANS and PANDAS. I'm interviewing Dr. Roseanne about how to talk to your children about tics. I'm interviewing Katie Kimball, who has an amazing cooking program for children, and we are going to be talking about food and mood. And then we will talk to one of my very own clients. She is a pharmacist, and we're going to be talking about testing and how it has changed their lives.
Oh, wow.
So I'm very excited.
Yes. Well, we are excited too at the Connect Network TV on the CW in Austin and Midland, Texas. Dr. Piper, how can everyone find you? Get your paper and pen, people. Where are you, Dr. Piper?
Right. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Regenerating Health. You can find me at www.regeneratinghealth. It's here below. And you can grab my tic disorders cheat sheet. If you suspect that maybe your child has a tic, or maybe you actually have a diagnosis and you're looking for different approaches, the tic disorder cheat sheet is for you.
I love it, Dr. Piper. Well, we will see you right back here next week. But coming up next, if you have been thinking about starting your own podcast, we are ready to help you get started. Coming up next, we are checking in with the host of the E-Spot, Camille Kauer. She is sharing how you can get started with your own podcast next.
My name is Crystal Rao, and I am a certified financial planner professional. I help my clients accomplish their financial goals in 3 different ways, which include comprehensive financial planning, investment management, and the last thing is retirement plans for small business owners so they can grow wealth through their business. I am a fee-only advisor, which means I don't sell products or receive commissions. As a fiduciary, I provide only honest and objective advice. Interested in learning more? Check out our website below.
Want to be a legit party planner but don't know how? Partypreneurs 101 is for you. A 10-week online course unlike any other. Get paid to do what you love and be your own boss. Learn more at thepartypreneurschool.com.
Well, welcome back, Texas. So we are continuing with this Girl Boss magic today and keeping the conversation moving with our next guest, Camille Kauer. Not only is she a child of Hollywood parents, get excited, but she's also a founder, producer, and an award-winning host. She has her own podcast. You guys ready to make your own podcast out there? Yes, we need the steps. We need the steps. So please help me welcome Miss Camille to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I absolutely love all this Black Girl magic you have going on, and this show is so amazing.
But before we get into family and all of your success, I want to talk a little bit about some of these films that your father helped produce. And you know, I look at movies today, and I just sometimes feel like I don't love it like I used to in the 90s. You know, in the 80s, so many good movies have come about, and I think a lot of the mature audiences are grown up, shall we say. I'm hitting 40, so it's like, wow, things are different today. But your father produced New Jack City, Baby Boy, Girls Trip with Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett. Your mom also was a stunt double for Ice-T in New Jack City, which is funny because, you know, you don't think women are doing these stunts, and so many other movies. It's amazing, Camille. So talk a little bit about growing up in this life and watching all of these Hollywood stars. Your father just got a huge award not long ago for all of his work and film, and he is still going today with a big film that's coming out that we can't quite yet announce.
He was like, once it's on IMDb, then I can say whatever I want. But for the most part, because his birthday was yesterday, so happy birthday, Dad. IMDb is kind of like my resume, and also reminds me where I lived when, because I did go to 26 different schools because my parents moved all over the country. So I feel like that kind of led to me being kind of the kind of person that ended up doing podcasting, because I was always curious by nature, and getting that opportunity to make my own content and not have to wait for the doors to open, especially being a woman of a certain age. I just felt like my opportunities in entertainment would dwindle, just like I saw with my mom. But luckily she was an artist. That's her art. It was a great opportunity. I got to be around so many amazing people, because I also stood in myself for Diane Carroll and worked with her on Having Our Say. I got the best of both worlds in that sense. I get to do the education side, but I also grew up around these greats and just really got to see their process. And the questions I couldn't ask them on set because they were working is now what I get to do with my podcast. And you know, you got to do whatever you love, and the net will be there. Just take the jump.
Honey, talk about this podcast. So many people want to get into this, and you're seeing podcasts pop up everywhere, but I don't think a lot of people really know how to get started. So talk about how you were able to jump headfirst into this industry, and now you're going on, I think, season 4. Is that right?
Right. Season 4 will start next year. I'm on season 3 now. It'll end in December, and I'm giving myself a Christmas break.
Amen.
And then January I'll start back. And I always wanted to be a talk show host. I think from working with Oprah Winfrey and growing up watching her every day at 4 o'clock, I wanted to do that as well, because I know how much of an impact she made on me about being able to speak your truth and find out more about people and not make assumptions based on their lifestyle or what you think is going on. And plus, like Lifestyle and Rich and Famous, I loved all of those kinds of shows. So I applied first to work with Beautiful Brown Girls. They had an opening for a virtual talk show host. I was like, oh, location's not an issue, because I was still pretty much a stay-at-home mom, but I was still working in entertainment, doing commercials and print work. And so I started just getting back out there and putting myself out there, and ended up doing an interview on a radio show here locally for ESPN. They loved me and also invited me to do my own entertainment segment. So I brought in different celebrities, and that's where the E spot came from, and E standing for entertainment. And it was just a small 30-minute spot on the local sports talk radio show here. And after about 6 months on air, I won on air wait, I always have to look at the thing, best local radio personality. And that really just encouraged me. But then 2 weeks after the awards ceremony is when COVID hit. You know, like all the people that I was just like, let's just see, because everybody was home. So it was just so easy to just get everybody and anybody. I reached out to, I got some no's, like Serena Williams told me no, but a lot of people said yes. And that's when I focused on. It was just like, I'll just keep this going until I get tired of it.
Now, we know she's got some financial resources, but guess what? Okay, because you at home might have some financial resources. Do not be afraid to go for the ask. Go for the ask. There are so many people looking to support people like you. Coming up after the break, Camille, I'm excited you're going to stick around. We are going to talk a little bit about tips. Okay, so grab your paper, grab your pen, get the mimosa, get the coffee, or you just might want some water. We're going to show you how to get out there coming up next.
Your new favorite blog is here. Jessica Cherry presenting Life of a Cherry Wife with family, fun, and food, all through a Latina's eyes. Check us out today online at lifeofacherrywife.com. Voted Blogger of the Year by Austin Businesswoman. At Tenacious Woman Coaching, we help women heal from past abuse and discover your divine purpose so you can curate a life and business that fuels you and impacts the world. Join the Tenacious Woman Blueprint today.
Beautiful people, it's Major Mr. This is why I love you. And you are watching the Connect Network TV.
Well, welcome back to the Connect Network TV right here on the CW. So Camille, so happy you're here. You are helping us learn how to create a podcast. There are so many women and men that have been thinking about it. Let's first start by talking about how to create a great show. 30 minutes, 60 minutes, how long is it? And what should go inside of our podcast?
I say first figure out what kind of format you want to use, whether you want to be just audio, then that would change also what kind of program you use. I use anchor.fm to get all the RS feeds, and it sends it to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, all of that. I did have to do an application process to get approved to be on all those different platforms. So I'm on iHeartRadio everywhere. One of the tips I always give is have a community of friends that you can count on that will be in the comment section, helping you along, making sure that they, even if it's yourself, just having all the links prepared to just populate during it. So it makes it easy for people to find your guest, but also know your level of what you can do. Because if you can do all of the OBXRSCEO, whatever, then do it. But if you can't, find somebody that can, that whether you pay them, internships.
So you were pretty serious about making this a real thing. So what makes for a good podcast? I like what you're saying about start with your family. That will also help you build your muscle, build your conversation, and get comfortable being recorded and accepting the way you sound. It's funny when you're not on television or on podcasts and you hear yourself, it can be shocking, especially for me.
Yes, that's hence the earphones, because I can hear myself and realize if I'm being too loud or if I'm not loud enough. Because sometimes with your audio, if you find out after the fact that it was all bad, you may be able to get that guest again, but you probably won't. And that magic won't be there again because you already can kind of anticipate what the questions are, or you might forget because you've already asked them in the previous one, but the audio was bad. Because people will work with bad visual, but they will not work with bad audio.
So what makes for a good show? What do we want to get into the show, and how long should the podcast be?
I think because of attention spans, you really should try to stay under an hour, 45 minutes to 30 minutes. If you can get all the great information in that amount of time, that's great. I could tell you every single ingredient I use, but if it's not your sauce, if it's not something you're interested in, if it's not your love poured into it, it's not going to work. So find what you're interested in. Know what your passions are and go in that direction.
Talk a little bit about just marketing, how to put yourself out there, how to be seen. What should we do after we've got the whole idea together?
Okay, well, so I have to give credit to my girlfriend, Fran Moses, because she was the one that first nominated me. And then I started realizing every time there was something that was not like there was any nomination for podcasting, I would start promoting it. And also interviewing publicists help because you scratch their back, they'll scratch yours. So then they started nominating me. So that's how I got the Voyage LA interview. But it's a matter of just putting yourself out there, joining different groups that are supportive. And like you said, your Instagram stalking, it pays off. When you Instagram stalk, Facebook stalk the right people, then they'll start promoting you because you're promoting their stuff. You're sharing theirs, they'll share yours. You're commenting because you actually enjoy what their content is. They're going to start commenting. So I'll do that. Like use what's in you don't have to always make a big production with iMovie or whatever editing software you might use. I guess I'll share all the secrets. So I also use Sivian Social to get affiliate links. So I put that in my my blogs and so on. So that helps me get paid advertisements that way. And doing different blog things. So like I recently did something for Belk, so they paid me for that. And funny enough, I made more off of that than I used to make doing runway shows for them inside of the store where I would show off the different brands and so on. So I was like, wait, I can make more money and not even leave my house? Sold. And I still get to try on beautiful clothes. Double sold.
Win-win.
So there's so many different ways to kind of, because like you said, ask. I am horrible at asking people for money because a couple of times I did, I got burned. So I just was like, I don't have the energy to waste to chase money. If you're going to pay me, you're going to pay me. And I was one of those that was kind of naive. I was like, oh, I'll just wait. I'll go ahead and interview them and wait for the money. And then they ghost me. Yeah. And I didn't chase my husband. I'm not chasing somebody else. Okay.
And 2 snaps to that, girl.
So, needless to say, you find other ways that work within your skill set because I am a solopreneur. I don't have anyone else helping me. So I focus more on making good content and finding other ways that make me feel good about making money and still having a good show. Like that's what's really going to drive people to me and getting more acting jobs and so on because of it. Like that works for me too.
Wow, Camille, you are just outstanding. So happy to be with you today and so much more. And, we've shared in the Twin Cities that you're going to be pulling up on the team in several ways. So I'm excited to be sharing more about you. You're so just a breath of fresh air. How can people contact you and learn more about the E-Spot with Camille?
Yes, I am doing consultations. I am doing classes. I do have some free videos that people can watch because I repurposed some of the speeches I did. So it's on YouTube and it's on my website every chance I get. But you can reach me at CamilleKauer.com or on Instagram, The Real Camille Kauer.
That is all the time we have for today. Make sure you are keeping up with not only Camille, but follow Dr. Piper as well, owner of Regenerating Health. And my girls, Wendy and Michelle, will be back with us next week. And in the meantime, don't forget to keep up with us online at theconnectonline.com.